Hello everybody! Have you heard about the biggest housing bubble apocalypse yet? As we enter 2023, experts are warning that the housing market is about to take a catastrophic hit. Home prices are skyrocketing, interest rates are on the rise, and the supply of available homes is dwindling. These signs are all there, and they're pointing to an imminent collapse that could leave millions of people struggling to keep a roof over their heads. But don't worry, it's better to be aware of the warning signs than to face the monster clueless. In this eye-opening video, we'll take a deep dive into the 2023 housing bubble apocalypse and explore what you need to know to prepare for the coming storm. So let's begin. We've seen it before. The 2008 housing market crash was a nightmare for homeowners and investors alike. It resulted in widespread foreclosures, job losses, and a plummeting economy. Although many millennials were too young to fully grasp the severity of the situation at the time, they've likely heard about it from their parents and teachers. Unfortunately, it seems that history may be repeating itself. Signs are emerging that indicate another housing market crash may be on the horizon. The skyrocketing home prices, low inventory, and increasing interest rates are all red flags that suggest a market bubble. This is alarming news for millennials who are already struggling to get a foothold in the housing market. It's crucial for prospective home buyers to approach the current housing market with caution and to be aware of the risks associated with taking on too much debt. By keeping an eye on the market and staying informed, home buyers can hopefully avoid the devastating consequences of another housing market crash. July of 2006 was the peak of home prices. Let's take an example. If the value of a median house in California in 1996 was $150,000, it rose to a whopping $500,000 by 2006. Even the cheap places became expensive. This situation was a clear indication of a dangerous housing bubble the U.S. was in the 2000s. The prices were exceptionally high, unsustainable, and undeserving. But why? Well, several reasons. The first was an influx of money into the housing market, creating a surge in demand for housing. Secondly, loose lending conditions allowed people to take on more debt than they could afford, leading to an unsustainable bubble. Lastly, government policies promoting homeownership further fueled the market. The result was a catastrophic housing crash in 2008, causing widespread foreclosures, job losses, and a major economic downturn. Well, that's why you call it a bubble. You inflate it so much that at one point it can't take it anymore and it bursts. What followed that housing market crash was the Great Recession, which was the worst one in almost 80 years. Now you might say, oh well, the Case-Shiller index isn't showing any signs of a recession right now. And you'd be right in saying so, because the fact is, Case-Shiller isn't in fact showing it. We can say that because the last time around, it took them too long to realize things are on a downward curve. The Case-Shiller index is a lagging indicator of the housing market, meaning it can take several months or even years for changes in the market to be reflected in the index. In the 2000s, it took the index about 2 years or 24 reports to show a 10% decline in the housing market. If we keep this in perspective to what's happening right now, we can see a pattern. As you can see, the price index peaked last June in 2022. Right after that, there's a downward curve happening. It's showing loss after loss until November, and we're sure the story is similar for the next 2 months as well. When it comes to the real estate market, one size does not fit all. The northeastern United States takes the crown for the largest increase in average single-family home prices, while the South and Midwest regions trail behind with the smallest increases. But how have the prices increased? It's because of the low interest rates and increase in zonal regulations, higher construction costs, inflation, government subsidies, and several other factors. Okay, we know the cause for the housing price drop last time around was mainly due to BAB's subprime loan terms, so what's the problem today? Unfortunately, now that the Fed has been slowly increasing interest rates by 0.25% with no real end in sight, it's becoming harder for people to secure loans for major purchases like houses. So this means more houses are available, but less buyers. In other words, volume leads price. The Fed increases interest rates for a variety of reasons, such as to combat inflation, slow down the overheating economy, and to respond to global economic conditions. When the Fed increases interest rates, it makes borrowing more expensive, which can help to slow down economic growth and stabilize prices. However, it can also lead to a slowdown in business investment and consumer spending. So the Fed carefully weighs the potential benefits and drawbacks of raising interest rates before making a decision. So there is hope that whatever they're doing is suitable for the overall housing market and the economy in the bigger picture. Anyway, the downfall in prices in just 5 months since June, you see, is worse than before. However, home prices are still up 38% from March 2020. This should ring many bells. We are really on our way to seeing history repeat itself. According to Forbes, the U.S. already entered into a recession in the summer of 2022. We compile so much information for your knowledge, so you can show your appreciation for our hard work by clicking on that like button and subscribing to our channel to stay informed. Now, let's continue. Weekly reports by Redfin also suggest a similar story. They predict home prices to sink to their lowest this year as the mortgage rates stay up and make it harder for people to own houses. Their data shows a 12% drop since last June, which is worse than the lagging Case-Shiller index. By the end of the year, Redfin predicts that the median home price in the United States will be around $315,000, but the mortgage rates are still higher than in 2020. According to a comparison, the median existing home price in the spring of 2020 was $283,000, and 2 years later, in May 2022, it became $407,000. That is insane. It's no wonder people feel like they can't afford a house for themselves. And let's not talk about the new constructions, which are even more expensive than that. The current situation in the U.S. housing market is being driven by a housing investment bubble, which is different from the 2008 financial crisis caused by bad loans. This time, low mortgage rates have allowed regular people to buy homes and rent them out, eat the fruit of the continuous value appreciation, take a HELOC loan that allows homeowners to borrow money against the equity they have in their home, buy another house, rent that out, and continue. As the tenants pay the rent, it actually goes into paying the mortgage. This enables owners to refinance and use the equity to buy another investment property, thus continuing the cycle of price increases. Hundreds of people have carried out this strategy year after year in order to own property portfolios worth millions. However, this situation is not sustainable in the long term and may become the cause of the market crash and the decline in home values, especially if interest rates keep rising. This amateur investment method is both easy and profitable, so it's no wonder the majority of people went ahead with it. But what they didn't foresee is that this technique may work in the short term, but it will eventually fall apart in the long run. You can debate for hours if making the residential real estate market a playground for money-making is ethical or not. On one hand, buying and selling houses is a legal way to invest money and can generate significant returns. On the other hand, this practice can contribute to housing affordability issues and can lead to economic instability, as we are seeing right now. Additionally, if individuals or institutions engage in predatory lending practices or engage in speculative behavior leading to a housing bubble, this can have serious consequences for homeowners and the economy as a whole. It's important for individuals and institutions to consider the potential impact of their actions on the broader community and to prioritize responsible, sustainable investment practices. This may involve balancing the desire for profit with considerations of social responsibility and long-term economic stability. In the end, let's hope we're able to withstand this incoming housing apocalypse and that people become able to afford their forever homes soon. If you like this video, we're sure you'll like other informative videos on our channel as well, so do check them out. Please hit that like button if you haven't already and subscribe to our channel for more amazing content. And in the end, thank you for watching.